Are you sick of Batavia?
Do you want your taste buds to be forever blessed by the best food ever?
Do you know people? Would you call them cool? Wrong! The people you know don't come close to the W people in Costa Rica.
Do you know Pero?
Do you only have American mode unlocked?
Well, the Jungle Man and Emma are here to tell you about the amazing experience which is Costa Rica.
Yay! While everyone's experience in Costa Rica is different, it will change your life forever. And ever. And ever.
But of course, we didn't just teleport to Costa Rica. We drove.
No. We didn't drive either. We took planes. Not one, but two.
Ooh.
Costa Rica is one of the most beautiful countries that you will ever see in your life. It is home to many different animals and flowers. We got to make our own chocolate, try organic fruits straight off the plant, and try delicious new fruits that we have never heard of.
Waking up in the morning and seeing the sun rise over the mountains is one of the most relaxing things you could experience. Listening to the sounds of the birds and insects chirping calms you greatly. The sun shines bright through the roof in the morning and makes the air perfectly warm.
And now Cameron with the weather.
It is raining.
Yep, it rains a lot in Costa Rica, especially during the rainy season. Ooh. Typically at about the same time every day, but it also has a nice heat due to the humid weather over there.
The pleasant heat keeps up, even when it rains all through the afternoon. The rain feels pure and soothing. It never thunders. It is not windy. There's just rain.
The biodiversity of Costa Rica is immaculate, with many different species of plants and animals visible with just a short walk around. But do not walk around the jungle at night by yourself. You can meet some interesting creatures. Only walk with an epic guide. There are many colorful birds that you can see in the morning, and it's an amazing experience.
One of the biggest parts of the trip is the Turtle Project, where there are many great creatures and plants to get to work with, but more on that later. Now, enough about that though. Let's move on to one of the best parts about Costa Rica, the greatest food you will ever taste in your life.
The food in this country is some of the greatest that you will ever have, zero exceptions. All of the fruit is some of the juiciest, most delicious food ever. The pineapple was exquisite. The watermelon was heavenly, and nothing in the States even comes close. And not just the fruit, but other things like the rice, the beans, everything. Nothing will ever come close.
Surprisingly, there are many humans in Costa Rica.
And these people are some of the most wholesome and amazing people that we have ever met.
First, we met our tour guide, Jenny, her amazing, fearless husband, Marcos, and our incredible driver, Henry.
Jenny and Henry stayed with us our entire trip, and they were such a delight.
Marcos, Jenny, and their daughter Brisa are such an amazing and helpful family. They help everyone in their community, no matter who they are.
We also met an amazing American named Tim, who has been living in Costa Rica for most of his life, and started an entire vegetation production named RANCHO MASTATAL. He created an entire place that people can visit with lots of fruits and vegetables. And the place is just so peaceful. He also never wore shoes.
Mm-hmm. At the chocolate farm we visited, we met Mariana and her father Carlos, who ran La Iguana Chocolate. This place is magical, and we were able to see how chocolate was made from the cocoa plant. We also harvested beans and were even able to customize our own chocolate.
During the Turtle and Mangrove project, we worked with a team of international college students that came from countries all around the world. They came to the Osa Peninsula just to help and preserve the turtles and their habitats, and they were really fun to work with.
There were so many other people that we met. The instructors we went kayaking with from Kayakaco,
Juan Carlos, and the rest of the amazing zipline tour team.
And even Pero, our pet dog, for a few hours.
Costa Rica has such wholesome people, and they made the trip a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
For 3 days, we got to volunteer on a project called LAST, which stands for Latin American Sea Turtles. Just like you. Even though you won't be doing the exact same things as us, we are sure that your experience will be equally as awesome. The first day, we got to meet all of the cool biology students that we were staying with on the project. They were from the United States, France, and Ireland. The next day, we set a net out in the water, and it was time to observe.
We each took turns going out on a boat and monitoring the net. There was not much action at first, although we did see a sloth. We were almost halfway through the day when all of a sudden, boom!
We brought the turtle back to shore and started measuring it. It was a green sea turtle, a teenager with average size and a few barnacles. The nice biologists were able to clip them off and we sent it on its merry way, this time without disease. They tagged the turtle, put it back on the boat, and returned it to the sea. We almost caught another, but it was not feeling the net and decided to leave.
The next day, we got to work restoring mangroves, which are special trees that grow in the water. These trees are critical to turtles' nests and habitat, so LAST has a mission to help restore them. We put soil in bags, planted trees, and measured other trees that LAST has planted in the past. Overall, it was incredible to see turtles in the wild and how ordinary people can make a difference. 10 out of 10 experience.
We also spent an entire day literally making chocolate. We got to go through the entire process, from cutting the pods off the tree to eating it at the end of the day.
When we were cutting the pods off the trees, we got to see a good bit of their plantation. And it isn't like anything we've seen here. There are all kinds of edible plants growing everywhere. And we got to see what cocoa actually looks like on trees. And it does not look anything like chocolate.
We then got to actually use machetes and other tools to cut the pods off the branches. It felt pretty cool to swing the machete at things.
We then got to cut the actual pods out and see the cocoa beans, which look less like chocolate. We had to scoop all of the beans out and got to try the fruit part, which was surprisingly good and is even less like chocolate. It's sweet.
The next part of the process is drying out the beans, which can take a long time. So we skipped straight to the crushing the beans into powder and mixing them into the actual chocolate that tastes really good. I felt pretty professional tempering with the chocolate.
When we finally got to eat the chocolate, we tried truffles, hot chocolate, brownies, and just regular chocolate. It was all phenomenal.
It tasted a little different than the chocolate that's here, but in a good way. We got to eat it while listening to the rain, and it was very peaceful.
Like the rest of the food in that country. Well, one of my favorite parts of the entire trip was the day we spent at Rancho MASTATAL, one of the local projects.
It's run by Tim, one of the cool people, and his family who moved there a while ago. They run a completely sustainable farm and teach others how to live sustainably too.
I had just taken environmental science when we went, and so I found everything he said very, very interesting.
The buildings there were literally made out of the clay from soil, and we got to see a few different stages of that process. For being made out of dirt, the buildings all looked pretty incredible.
We also got to see all the other different ways that they live differently to be more ecologically friendly, including their toilets.
And on top of seeing how they live very differently than we do, we got to go on an incredible walk through their farm. But it was very different from the farms here.
There's both different plants than we have here, and they're all just mixed together instead of just having fields of corn like we do here. So it helps the natural ecosystem too.
This was also where we got to try a bunch of the different fruits. Tim would just pull them straight off the tree and just eat them like it was nothing.
We got to try those miracle berries, star fruit, which has been my favorite fruit since we went there, even though I haven't had it since, and lots of other cool things.
After our stay in MASTATAL, and after our time volunteering on the Turtle Project, we got to go relax and actually do some touristy things.
We drove up the coast and stopped at a ziplining place. Our guide's name was Juan Carlos, and he took us on a hike through the jungle to some platforms, and we ziplined through the trees and the greenery.
On our last zip line, we got sent backwards to the next platform. However, the best part was when we saw monkeys. We were able to see them eating some of the cocoa because everybody loves chocolate, especially monkeys.
Later that day, we arrived at our destination, a resort hotel right on the Pacific coastline. Even though it was raining, we got to have some fun on the beach with the frisbee, drew in the sand, and took pictures.
The next day, we drove to the kayaking place called Kayak Yako. We got on a big boat and paddled on a beach. Even though it was raining, the trip was a massive W.
Once we got there, the gentleman leading the trip cut pineapples and watermelon in an interesting pattern. When we asked for more, they simply cut another one with their machete. We went back to the mainland, ate lunch, and went on our way.
Then we stopped at a souvenir shop called El Jardín, the garden, where we all bought different things. I personally bought a Costa Rica flag, a little wooden toucan, a shirt, a sweatshirt, and a little turtle. Later that day, we went to a hotel. We didn't stay the night or anything, but we just chilled for a while. Yash and Cameron won a game of foosball, and we made this.
Sparkles and champagne. VIP my section, royalty looking sexy. Sparkles and champagne. VIP my.
We then reflected on our trip. Then it was time to go to the airport and wrap up our amazing experience in Costa Rica. Pura Vida, baby.
You don't even realize how many memories are going to be made on this trip. Even though at this point in the video, it's been a year since we came back from Costa Rica, I still think about the amazing country every day, and I know that these guys do too.
If you came up to me and asked what I did on the trip, I could probably recall almost everything we did with ease.
And this isn't just because of all the amazing activities we did. Even though we went on so many adventures and experienced so many new things, the real memories were the friends we made along the way. Whenever we had downtime, we were always hanging out, whether it was sitting together and watching the morning sky,
Playing Uno, or as they call it in Spanish-speaking countries, One, with random dogs on the beach.
Watching The Floor is Lava on Netflix together while eating bread and jelly.
Or even just sleeping, telling stories, and playing foosball.
The back scenes of the Costa Rica trip are just as fun as the actual activities. And as someone who loves making memories with people, I absolutely loved making memories and having fun with my friends that I usually just see at school.
Come
to
Costa Rica.